All right, we're joined by Creighton head volleyball coach Kirsten Bernthal Booth. Again, if you've got a question, use the raised hand feature and we'll get you called on. First question to Andy Kendi.
Hey, Coach. What did the second game in South Dakota, what did that do for the confidence of your team, especially being down 0-2 to fight back like that? I mean, there had to be some doubts, or were there doubts in that huddle at that point?
I think right now we're such a work in progress, so each game is an opportunity. So I never felt like we didn't believe that we could come back. I tell you, South Dakota in the first game was unreal. They made one error the entire game, and that was a service error. So they just flat out beat us in the first game. The second game could have gone either way, and in fact, I thought we had opportunities. But, if you watch the match, we switched offenses in that game. We've now run a 5-1, a 5-2, and now a 6-2. So we're throwing a lot of different things. And, what was exciting as a coach was some kids, Kiana Schmidt comes to mind, hasn't gotten any significant time and was really a big key to that victory. And so I think it shows us our depth. But even, I had several people say you lost 5 sets in a row against them. But every set that we lost was close, other than that first game where I just thought they beat us. So I have never questioned our fight, and our leadership never gives up. So those are all really good things. But no question, psychologically, I think it was really big for us to notch the win.
Again, use the raised hand feature. We'll go to John.
Kirsten, I know you said before the season that you were expecting to maybe experiment and tinker and move players around, try different systems. But now that you've done it for 2 weeks, I wonder how has your team handled that piece of it? You guys, you're so, it's not like you haven't done this before, but you're used to seeing the results. How do you think the players have handled sort of this, the constant change?
I don't think in 18 years I've ever done this much moving pieces around. So I do think it's different this year. It's hard. I mean, I think they've handled it well, but I don't want to sugarcoat how difficult that is, because usually you have a lineup and players get the role they want or don't get the role, and maybe you've got a little bit of movement, but for the most part, it's a little bit more cut and dry. This year, everyone's on the docket to play or go to the bench. And so I think there's some dynamics that are hard. And, the players are all handling it well, but I think as coaches, we have to recognize the challenge that goes along with that, with everyone feeling like, regardless of their role, that they're feeling that they are contributing to the team, because one day it might be on the court and the next day it may be from the bench. And anyone that has had a child that plays sports knows that is mentally taxing on kids. And so we're cognizant of that. But yes, I'm very proud of the way that they've handled that.
Matt?
Yeah, just on that note, how does it affect the player? Because you drop your program, you try to embed in them that they can go out there and play aggressively and not think about making mistakes. Yet there's been so much depth on this roster so far. You plugged and played in different places in different matches. How do you keep that part of your foundation despite the fact you have so much depth right now? And it could be a mistake that gets you a mistake or two that takes you out of the match that day.
Yeah, I think it's a fine balance. I think communication is key. We're not trying to make quick decisions. So even though we've made some changes, I don't think you've seen us like a kid makes an error and they get yanked. It's more of holistic. It's multiple games, or and I will talk specifically to South Dakota. We needed more offense. So the offense that we went into, the person that got taken out was a defensive specialist, and it had nothing to do with her play. It was the fact that we needed offense. So, making sure that she understands that she did not do anything poorly. It's just the system that we wanted to run. Now, does that make it easy? No, it's still hard, and everyone wants to be on the court. But we're not trying to make rash decisions, but we're trying to make decisions that based on who we're playing, it might be the best matchup for us.
Rex?
Hey, Coach, you got Marquette back-to-back weekends coming up, sort of finish up your preseason and then start the Big East on the road at their place. Just your thoughts on the matchup.
Marquette, I was texting with their coach and I was like, you're salty good. Like, they are really a good team. Their offense, I mean, to tell you, like, they added 2 transfers that were on our top 5 of all preseason lists. So Tice has done a nice job grabbing some pieces that have made them really good. They run a 6-2, so they have 3 hitters coming at them all the time. Coming at us all the time, excuse me. They're playing confident. They're really, really good. We will have our hands full trying to throw things at them and try to disrupt them.
John?
Do you have to get permission from Big East to play a conference team out of league, or like, was it hard to get this thing set up?
No, I think the Big East understands that during the non-conference, we ideally want to play the best possible teams that we can, and Marquette and Creighton both have great respect, and both of us have fared pretty well, and so it just made sense to play each other multiple times. So no, I think they thought it was a good idea, and we're excited for the opportunity.
Any additional questions? Again, use the raised hand feature. We'll go back to Andy.
Does it benefit, is there any advantage of playing not knowing that this is not going to count towards the Big East Conference standings? Is there less pressure, or do you not even think about that?
I really haven't thought about it. Right now we're just trying to figure out things that we can break apart in Marquette and score some points, right? So, I think once you hit conference season, each match is going to be precious to, with only 2 teams per division making the conference tournament, there's no question those conference matches, each one is precious. So, but on the flip side, our at-large resume got wounded pretty bad by that loss to South Dakota. But, we do have some other wins, and, if we were to be able to pull some non-conference wins and conference wins against Marquette, all of a sudden our resume looks pretty good. So I think you could make the argument they're all really valuable. But no, I haven't looked at it that way. Right now, again, our focus is just trying to get better every single match.
Any additional questions for Coach? All right, we'll go back to Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Go ahead, Matt.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how much flexibility you're going to have at all. We've just seen it in different sports where the schedule is kind of fluid, and I know it's probably dumb to ask ahead of time, but do you foresee yourselves trying to find other out-of-conference matches should a window open up where opponents aren't available ahead of time and you realize you want to pause it? Do you see that being a fluid situation in this sport as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll keep our options open if we run into that instance for sure. A lot of things have to align for that to happen. So, even like the third, after this weekend, we're off. Well, part of it was we couldn't find anyone regional that was available to play. So we'll keep our ears out in case someone is looking for a match. But, a lot of stars have to align for that to happen.
All right, last call for questions with Coach. All right, well, thank you for your time, Coach.
Bye, guys. Good to see you all.